Your poor material condition is not because somebody is a different race than you. Now, I typically don't talk about politics on my channel because it's just a negative atmosphere that I don't want to go down. And yes, in the 2024 election, I did make a few videos about how I had voted for Harris. But if you see people just being picked off the streets and not really knowing exactly where these people are going, you see how unjust and inhumane this is. Of course, I'm gonna speak out about it. Now, I did attend the No Kings protest here in my town, mainly because I wanted to show support over the humanitarian crisis that we have in the US right now. But also I wanted to show support for the other humanitarian crisis that we have going on overseas, otherwise known as Palestine and the people in Gaza. The current administration has spewed out lies about the immigration policies and that Mexican individuals are to blame for every societal problem. And if you were born in the US as a colored individual, you will understand that racism runs deep. It is in your schools. It is in the media that you have consumed since you were a toddler. And with somebody who has dealt with this sort of thing because of my last name, I'm going to stand up for the individuals that are being taken for no unjust reason other than racism. The No Kings protest that I went to in my little town was not as eventful as the ones that were going on in LA. And if you were watching some of the live streams that were going on in LA, like Hassan Piker, you will see that police presence was a major cause of violence in the city. Hassan even showcasing somebody being shot in the head with a rubber bullet, which is just a little inhumane if you were trying to have a peaceful protest. Which brings me back to my little town where the protest was very, very peaceful in the time that I was there. Just like all the protests that were going on around the US, there was a lot of care and thought that went into the people that attended. They made sure that you had water or that you had sunscreen because it is hot as hell in Texas. I showed up around the time that the protest had started, and little by little I saw more and more of the community show support for No Kings protest. A lot of the signs and a lot of the t-shirts were very, very clever, and some of them I just had to laugh at, but they were very, very supportive on the anti-ICE policy. About an hour into the No Kings protest, we started to see Trump supporters show up, and it was then that we started to see police presence because they wanted to keep the peace. With my local town being so small, the police presence was actually very, very peaceful and kind. Some of them even shook my hand, but that is also due to the fact that the local media coverage on the police in our little town has kind of been negative throughout the years. So I believe that the police force is trying to abide by protect and serve, but it still was a little concerning that they shook my hand. Now, I had left just before the march had happened, but as I was leaving, I got to see them march and show support for No Kings protest, which was awesome and great. It was actually very, very cool to see them walk over the bridge and hold up their signs. The majority of the event was very, very peaceful, but the peace is also due to the fact that our town is too small for anything that you would see in LA. Now, let's talk about celebrity coverage over immigration policies, because there really hasn't been that much coverage over this. And while I think that celebrities should be more concerned about the people around them, there were people like Mark Ruffalo who had showed his support in joining the No Kings protest. There was also famous rap artists like King Little G, who was out there in the LA streets during the ongoing protests. The media coverage around the LA protest has been pretty sour, mainly because it was showing support for the current administration and everything that is going on with the immigration policies. A lot of it was just simply not true, and if you were watching live streams like I was, you can see that the militarization was the factor in the escalating tensions. Now, again, I went to the No Kings protest to show support for the racism that is going on in the US, but it was also to show support for Palestine and the humanitarian crisis that we have brewing around the world. If you go out and protest, make sure to be safe, be vigilant, and stay hydrated.